Dreaming that you are being chased, as well as other interpretations of dreams, are related to our fears or our deepest desires. We discuss the significance of the most frequently occurring nightmares. One of the most common nightmares is that you are being pursued by someone. Because of the distressing experience it causes us, it is considered to be more than a dream and instead a nightmare. What is the identity of that person, animal, or being? What is it about us that you are interested in? The feeling that this type of experience generates in us is not always positive, which causes us to wake up upset and puzzled about the meaning of this dream, which can have several interpretations, which we then try to figure out. Being most of the time associated with some type of problem that, while easily remedied, can cause us a great deal of discomfort. Following that, we'll look at what we can infer from the fact that you're being persecuted in your dreams, including the most common meanings and the specific purposes of some events that occur while you're under persecution. The majority of people have had a frightening dream in which persecution played a significant role. Those who are harassed, hunted, attacked, and pursued in their dreams frequently awaken drenched in sweat as a result of their intense fear, which they cannot shake. If you are pursued in a dream by your pursuer, it is common to have an experience of rape or assault. A dream about being chased. When someone is being chased, it is possible that they are attempting to flee from an unpleasant feeling or situation in the real world. Alternatively, it's possible that the dreamer is symbolically pursuing his guilty conscience, in which case you'll have to deal with your feelings of guilt head-on. It is likely that those who are able to escape the pursuit of their dreams will eventually face this situation. However, there is a possibility that the confrontation will have negative consequences for the dreamer following that point. What does being chased in a dream mean? Discover the source of the dream, look beyond the dream as it is expressed in itself and try to hear what emotion is at the heart of that mental experience in order to understand it. Consider how that emotion might apply to your own circumstances. For example, have you experienced it on a consistent basis at various points in your recent life? Finally, try to engage in a dialogue with the dream to figure out what it is trying to communicate to you, if it has something to say. Put things in their proper perspective. Do not be taken in by this dream to the extreme because what happened while you slept is a part of a different reality from the one you are currently living in. Think back to when you were young and woke up terrified in the middle of the night after having a nightmare. Remember what your parents told you. Then, when you reach adulthood, you can reinforce that message to yourself. Because, in a way, your inner child is the one who was scared at the moment. Examine how the dream comes to a close. In addition to remembering the emotions associated with the dream, you can recall the dream's conclusion. It's because the outcome leaves a completely different taste in your mouth. Suppose you manage to get away from what is causing you pain. You will feel better than if you remain helpless in your situation. Make a list of your emotions. If you are going through a period of frequent nightmares, you may find that you quickly forget all the details shortly after waking up. In that case, you can jot down some notes in a notebook about any details that stand out to you as being significant. For instance, how have you been feeling recently? If you are preoccupied with this subject, remember that this dream may not have any greater significance or meaning. Dreaming about being chased by animals and monsters. Dream about being chased by monsters. Everything that appears monstrous and horrifying in a dream and awakens the sleeper is, on the whole, a reflection of the person's anxieties and fears in life. However, if a person has a dream about being persecuted by a monster, he or she should be aware that such fears may be completely unfounded. After all, there are no monsters in real life and that the dream should be ignored. Dream about being chased by wolves. Chasing a wolf in a dream is a common omen of impending danger. This dream serves as a warning to the sleeper about his surroundings as well as the impending difficulties that an acquaintance or friend may cause him to experience. In accordance with traditional interpretation, the fight with the wolf in the dream symbolizes a rival in matters of love, or vice versa. In order to avoid being taken advantage of, you must keep your eyes open and resist the temptation to give in to jealousy. Dream about being chased by a tiger. If you dreamed that you were being pursued by a tiger, it is possible that members of your family or friends will cause you distress. Did you get into a fight with anyone? Aggression, rage, and a desire for vengeance are literally floating around in the air. In such circumstances, it is always advisable to communicate with one another. In waking life, the same person who is capable of appeasement in a dream after a chase is also capable of eliminating conflict in a dream. Dream about being chased by a lion. According to the general interpretation of dreams, it represents a sense of loss. This is primarily seen in the financial sector, as well as other areas. As a result, the lion hunt should be interpreted by the dreamer as a warning not to spend money carelessly. If at all possible, contracts should not be signed right away but should be thoroughly reviewed, including the fine print. Dream about being chased by a dog. Many people have nightmares about an aggressive dog chasing and chasing after them. This dream situation represents the fears that the dreamer has about himself or herself. The issues will almost certainly be ignored rather than addressed right away. The hunting dog represents the negative emotions that result as a result of this. Dream about being chased by a cat. If you are chased by a kitty in your dream, the cat represents your desire to be free of unpleasant feelings. The dreamer feels as if he or she is being pursued by these feelings. Dream about being chased by a snake. The fear of the dream can often be experienced if you wake up from your sleep and are still thinking, "Help, a snake is following me." The dangerous snake can represent repressed urges and sexual desires that have been kept hidden in the subconscious for a long period of time. Dream about being chased by armed people. Dream about being chased by the police. Even while sleeping, the police persecution is a source of excitement. Essentially, the image depicted in this dream represents our relationship with the concept of freedom. As a result, if we are pursued by the police in our dreams and arrested, we may feel as if we have lost our freedom in the waking world. It's possible that someone is too restrictive in our lives. Dream about being chased by the mafia. What a fantastic dream! When one is subjected to mafia persecution, the level of excitement that follows the realization of the threat is extremely high. If there are weapons involved in the pursuit, it is likely that the dreamer experienced a fear of death as well. Dream events like these indicate that the affected person is being manipulated from the outside. He or she may be blackmailed or put under pressure, but he or she is afraid to seek assistance. It's important to have someone in whom you can confide. Being chased by a small child in your dreams. The child represents new opportunities and possibilities in the dreamer's life, and he or she is represented by the child in the dream interpretation. As a result, it may be possible to enter a new phase of life. If the child is now hunting in the dream, it indicates that a particular path in life will be particularly fruitful. Even if he is afraid of it, the dreamer is almost unable to pass up this excellent opportunity. Dream about being chased by a girl. If you wake up with the thought, "A girl is following me," this dream signals your own not yet fully developed sexuality or a past love that does not let go of the dreamer. Persecution by a girl in a dream can also indicate a slight influence. General interpretation. Persecution is a common dream symbol that people have. The majority of the time, the dreamer is being pursued and forced to flee. The reasons for this can vary, and as a result, they should be investigated in greater depth. Perhaps he was a member of a forbidden association or brotherhood, such as the Freemasons, who appeared to him in his dream. In general, having a dream in which you are being followed indicates that you are likely to be trying to escape from certain situations or emotions without even realizing it. For example, you may wish to forget about your responsibilities or let go of your feelings of failure and disappointment. Persecution dreams can also be triggered by stressful and unresolved fears or guilt feelings that have not been addressed. Persecution-related dreams are frequently followed by nightmares, from which one awakes terrified. As a result, it is almost always impossible to escape the hunter. The hunter will eventually catch up with you, no matter how fast you run, whether it is because he has more energy than you or because your escape route has been blocked off. Such a dream scenario symbolizes the fact that whatever it is that you are trying to get rid of will eventually catch up with you. In many cases, relapse into previously abandoned undesirable behaviors, repeated fears, or traumas that were supposed to have been overcome can be represented by the persecution scene. In either case, you must be aware of what you are attempting to escape from in your waking life. Then, make an effort to consciously accept the feelings that arise in order to effect a shift in your state of mind. You can also accomplish this by attempting to confront your pursuer in a dream. However, in order to engage in such active dream intervention, some practice is required. If you were haunted by someone in a dream, you might be attempting to make up for a wrong you did to someone else. They wish to be forgiven and to reconcile with one another. Persecutional dreams, on the other hand, can draw your attention to the defamation of others, which you will be forced to defend yourself against in the real world soon after. Furthermore, you may need to reconsider your own decisions. When it comes to psychology, dreams of persecution are associated with unconscious fears that are difficult to overcome. It is necessary to decipher the symbol of the persecutor in order to perform an interpretation. If this is impossible because you do not know who or what has persecuted you, then you are experiencing a fear that you are not yet aware of, and you must recognize yourself in this situation. If you deal with this while you are awake, your next dream about persecution will provide you with more specific information about the persecutor's identity and motivations. As soon as you recognize your pursuer, you will be able to further interpret the dream. If you are both the persecutor and the persecuted, the dream represents your attempt to flee. Perhaps you are afraid of a decision you must make, or perhaps you are afraid of a certain characteristic. It's frequently about your own ambition and desire to succeed, with a portion of that desire running away from you. Human bullies can be real people, or they can be their own feelings or characteristics that they are trying to hide or suppress. If you are acquainted with the bully in real life, you should be perplexed as to why this individual is bullying you. Do you have the impression that this person is harassing you while you are awake? Is this person simply uneasy to be around? Having your life partner follow you in a dream may be an indication of a problem in your relationship. You may feel pressured and restricted. You may also feel sexual or general insecurity in the relationship. Consider the possibility that your pursuer is a shadow or a shadow creature with an unknown form. In most cases, it indicates that a negative experience or trauma that has been suppressed is about to resurface and reclaim your attention. Make certain to deal with it consciously and, if necessary, to deal with your memories as well. A shadow, on the other hand, can indicate future emotional threats and fears that have not yet been deciphered by the individual. It's possible that the symbols you're being followed by are symbols for feelings or situations that you haven't dealt with properly yet. Fears, aggressions, feelings of guilt, and a guilty conscience are all common reactions to trauma. Alternatively, terrifying and overwhelming situations. It is critical to carefully examine the dream symbol in order to determine its specific symbolic meaning. Your animal and instinctual side, your passions and feelings, are frequently referenced by animals acting as persecutors. This type of dream is reminiscent of a hunt or being hunted, and it usually indicates that you are not at ease with your emotional side. It is critical to correctly identify the dream symbol, so tell me about the animal. Other interpretations of the chasing dream. Being chased by a wolf, fear of being betrayed or slandered. Being chased by a dinosaur, an authority figure, possibly also from the past, bullies the dream. Surveillance or spying on a friend, indication of future or past betrayal feared by a trusted person. Opposite gender person chasing, sexual fears you should dispel. What does it mean to dream that you are being chased? Interpretations. To know the meaning of dreaming that you are being persecuted, we have to consider that it can be a very subjective and personal interpretation. However, in general terms, we can group this dream into 5 great interpretations, which are the following. 1. Being worried about something. It is possible to dream that you are being chased as a representation of something that is currently affecting you in your life. As an example, consider a situation that is pending resolution. The fact is that it follows you wherever you go, no matter how much you try to ignore or postpone the inevitable outcome. In that case, this type of dream is typically associated with the experience of some concern that results in uncertainty for some reason, as described above. 2. Situation of personal change. When you are chased in a dream, the reality of the situation is left behind and a new arrival scenario is created. If you consider this dream to be a metaphor for life itself, the information it contains may also indicate the need for a change in some aspect of your current situation. Furthermore, it is a necessary change that allows you to connect with a new living space, which in turn allows you to breathe in fresh airs of freedom. 3. State of stress. When you are stressed, you experience more daily tensions, you concentrate more on the negative aspects of life, you are more vulnerable to the effects of worries, and you experience fear. Consequently, all of this has an impact on your ability to rest. In this case, your nightmares are providing you with information about the necessity of establishing new relaxation practices. 4. Feeling of guilt. Persecutory feelings in a dream can also be associated with feelings of remorse for a past event or with an unconscious fear of being judged. The sensation of guilt can be associated with the discomfort that you are trying to suppress. 5. Have seen a horror movie. Occasionally, these dreams do not refer to an internal message, but rather to an external stimulus that has triggered them. For example, if you have recently watched a horror film. If you have a difficult time mentally distancing yourself from the experience that the movie has provided you with over the course of its 2-hour duration, you may experience similar episodes and sensations over and over again in that situation. As a result of watching a scary movie late at night, it is very likely that you will be able to observe a cause and effect relationship between the discomfort experienced during sleep. How to prevent the nightmare of dreaming that you are being chased. Your dreams are completely out of your control. In fact, doing so would be detrimental to one's well-being. If, on the other hand, these dreams recur in the form of nightmares that cause you to wake up in the middle of the night, try some of the following relaxation techniques. Controlling stress. Make a decision to do something to help you release tension. Physical activity, laughter therapy, mindfulness, and relaxation techniques are all recommended. Choose the option that gives you the most flexibility. Consult your doctor if your nightmares are causing you to be anxious before going to sleep or if the usual interruption of sleep is preventing you from getting enough rest. Before going to bed, have a light dinner. Earplugs. Use of these simple products to improve your sleep, while avoiding those sounds which can influence the development of possible night fears, is highly recommended if you are bothered by any type of noise. Connect with someone who is in a good mood. Prepare to say goodbye to the day by mentally visualizing some beautiful and enjoyable images.